Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to the marketplace. Coming up, major utility tariff adjustments now expected in January next year as sector regulator PURC moves to address long-standing challenges facing power producers. Also coming up, IMF staff expected in Ghana next month for 5th program review, and Ghanaian startup Woven Africa secures major investment to expand digital kente platform across Africa. My name is Darryl Cloud. Thanks for being with us. Details coming up. Thanks for staying with us, everyone. The much anticipated major utility tariff adjustments are now expected to take effect in January 2026, not this year. That's according to information obtained by Joy Business from sources familiar with the ongoing review discussions. Here's more in the following report.
Review, which has been described as the multi-year tariff review from 2025 to 2029, is different from the quarterly adjustment. It is for these reasons why the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission is currently doing the necessary stakeholder engagement with all these sector players across the country. This is to ensure that any agreement reached will have the necessary industry approval. However, this multi-year tariff review is different from the quarterly adjustment in tariff. One is not sure for now whether, due to the review that will happen in January, the PURC will hold on to the quarterly review that will happen early next month. The quarterly adjustment will be guided by inflation, city performance, cost of crude and finished petroleum products. All these variables have been going down, with the exception of the CD, which has come under some pressure over the past 2 months. We are not sure how this development could impact the upcoming review.
Well, Executive Director of the Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy, Benjamin Isia, joins me on Zoom. Good afternoon to you. How do you assess the potential impact of this multi-year tariff order on long-term investment and sustainability in Ghana's utility sector?
Thank you very much. I think in theory, the multi-year tariff adjustment, as we all know, will improve the infrastructure of these utilities. It is likely also going to ensure that these utilities are able to be very innovative and technologically driven, and ensuring that they're able to operate at optimal and very cost-effective levels. However, beyond the theory, I think that there are other challenges that the utilities themselves must address. And these are issues of certain over-bloated budgets. These are issues of duplications of employment, increasing administrative cost of these utilities. These are issues of system losses, which almost cost us about 707.2 billion Ghana cedis annually. These are issues of frivolous procurement as being reported or established by both KPMG and reports that came from the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition. So I think that in theory, this is one of the ways to improve investment in the sector and ensure that they are very effective in realizing the objective of giving us stable and reliable power supply. But beyond this, I think that they need to also reform internally. And if they're able to inform internally, there will be certain cost-cutting measures for these utilities to be able to improve on the stated objective for this multi-year tariff structure.
Yeah, well, in your view, do you think there is a balance between cost recovery for utility companies and affordability for consumers under this framework?
Yes, I think that within affordability, we shouldn't only look at it from the perspective of the Ghanaian consumer. We should look at it from the perspective of the whole economy, and that has always been my argument. If you look at the lower middle income countries, Ghana is one of the highly prized electricity countries in Africa or even across the world. Our price of electricity is beyond the average for lower middle income countries. Today, we are doing around 12 cents per kilowatt hour. But within the lower middle income countries, they are doing around 10 cents per kilowatt hour. In Africa, if you compare Ghana to most of the North African countries, we are doing 12. Most of the North African countries are doing 4. So competitively, your output or your industry cannot be competing with these suppliers or outputs from these countries. That is one. So you have to look at it from that perspective. Now, beyond that, you have to also look at how can we use electricity to alleviate a lot of people from poverty. There's research to show that electricity is the cheapest cooking fuel or maybe cooking energy at the household level, cheaper than LPG, cheaper than any source of energy used at the household level. But because of the price of it, most households do not even want to use electricity to cook. So we must also infuse that in terms of alleviating people from poverty. We need cheaper price of electricity. But looking at currently, I think that our prices are very expensive, and because of some of the inefficiencies in the system. And if you're able to curtail some of these inefficiencies and draw them back, I think that our electricity prices will be even more affordable than what we are observing on the market today.
Right. What key indicators should the PURC prioritize under this framework?
So if you look at our priorities in terms of setting tariffs, I think we've always used the market-driven indicator and also the macroeconomic indicator. Mostly the macroeconomic indicators we have been using are the inflation and the exchange rate. I think beyond the inflation and exchange rate, we also need to look at our industrial output as an indicator of setting tariff. We also have to look at some poverty. These may not be growth indicators, but they are standard of living indicators. They are development indicators in terms of setting tariffs. So beyond the inflation, beyond the exchange rate, I think that we need to add even unemployment rate as one of the macroeconomic indicators. We also need to add industrial growth as one of the macroeconomic indicators so that we can use electricity price to drive employment. You can use electricity price to drive growth, and you can also use electricity price to reduce poverty. That should be the focus of government. Now, if you come to the market-driven indicators, I think that we've already had the weighted average cost of gas as one of the inputs, which is the cost of gas and other ancillary cost element associated with gas to be a feedstock into our power sector. We have it already. We also have our energy mix as a market-driven indicator. But beyond this, I think that the focus of government must also be about integrating renewable energy into our energy mix, because most of the countries that do have affordable electricity prices do have most of their energy mix being renewable energy or maybe transition energy like nuclear energy or coal, as the case of South Africa. So if in Ghana, beyond this, I've heard the minister mention that by December, we are likely going to attain 35% of our energy mix being renewable. I think that that is an overstatement, and I think that that is a false statement because per the Renewable Energy Act and also per the what we call the Renewable Energy Master Plan, our renewable energy does not include large hydros. The hydro that within our renewable energy is hydro that is mini hydro, that is 100 megawatts installation. That is what we call hydro. So I don't think that by December we are likely going to achieve, or we may not even achieve the 35% as posited by the minister. And we must ensure that we put a lot of efforts in achieving the 10% as established by the Act and also by the Renewable Energy Master Plan. If you're able to achieve the 10, I think that our prices will be more affordable than what we are observing today.
Let's talk about the current stakeholder engagements the PRC has been engaging with other stakeholders. Is it sufficient enough to ensure transparency and the buy-in of all the affected parties?
Darren, I think that our PRC has already taken their stance when it comes to fair adjustment, and that even goes against the act that established it. I think 538 established it. Well, some of the sections talks about fair electricity pricing. And that is very balanced in terms of taking care of the consumer as well as the supplier or the utilities. But in any of the conversations that we have engaged the PURC, I think that they've taken their stance already to increase the prices of these utilities. For example, if you look at one of the research they conducted this year, they mentioned that they gave 3 optional indicators, and the optional responses, one of them was that, should we pay for higher prices to get stable electricity? Should we pay for lower prices to get unstable electricity? These are straightforward questions that any Ghanaian responding will pick the first one, that we need to pay higher for stable electricity. But they can also be stable electricity with affordable prices or lower prices. But the PURC has taken their stance already. On a sister station, when I listened to them, I think they've also indicated that any Ghanaian that wants stable price must pay higher. And that has been their advocacy in there. And I think that is not fair, that is not balanced. They must engage all of us to bring our input to the table and ensure that the utilities are more efficient. As I indicated earlier, system losses alone, this last year, 2024, system losses was around 27%. That alone is in excess of 7.2 billion Ghana cedis. Imagine that comes into ECG or that comes into NETCO as one of their operational incomes. That is huge money that can even ensure that prices of electricity are very affordable. So their engagement, they have their position already. And I think because they have taken an entrenched position of continuous increment in the price of electricity locally, I think that their position will not inure to the benefit of the electricity consumer locally. And that goes contrary to the act that established it, especially some of the sections that talk about balanced electricity prices locally.
All right, we've run out of time, but thank you so much for your perspective and analysis, Executive Director of the Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy, Benjamin Insia. Appreciate your time. You're watching The Marketplace. Now, IMF staff are expected in Ghana next Monday for the country's 5th program review. George Afi has more.
The IMF team are expected to be in town for 2 weeks for this 5th program review. This will be the last but one review before Ghana ends the program in May next year. We understand that one issue that could come up strongly is what Bank of Ghana is doing to try and formalize its dollar intervention for the market. Another issue that will come up strongly during this 2-week review by the IMF mission is that what measures are being instituted to ensure that Ghana sticks to fiscal discipline post-program completion next year. The review will primarily focus on the economic data ending June 2025. We understand that other issues that would come up strongly is inflation performance, the impact of the recent appreciation of the Ghana cedi on revenue mobilization and social spending. If Ghana passes this review, some $360 million should be disbursed to hit Bank of Ghana's account by October this year. Since Ghana signed up to the program, it has so far received some $2.3 billion out of the total $3 billion promised under the fund program.
All right, you're watching The Marketplace. Coming up, we've got the exchange. I'll be engaging the Chief Executive of Woven Africa as he talks to us about a major funding and investment to expand digital kente across the continent. We're going. Hi, welcome back to The Marketplace. Time for the exchange, and Ghana's iconic kente fabric is getting a digital makeover and a major financial boost to match. Local fashion tech startup Woven Africa has secured a landmark investment from the African Leadership Academy and the MasterCard Foundation in a move set to transform the country's traditional weaving industry. The funding will power a bold new initiative to modernize kente production, connect rural weavers to global markets, and strengthen Ghana's position in the creative economy. Joining me for the exchange is Chief Executive and Founder for Woven Africa, Benjamin Epton. Good afternoon to you and congratulations. What does this investment from the African Leadership Academy and the MasterCard Foundation mean for the future of woven Africa and Ghana's kente industry?
Thank you very much, Darryl. This investment is more than just a funding. It is a strong endorsement of the vision we have at Woven Africa. It means that the future of kente is not only local, but global. And also to the 13 weaving families that we've been working with over the course of this year, it means that all that we've been doing with the kente product, it shows that our kente product is not only local, but also global. With the backing that we've received from the African Leadership Academy and then the MasterCard Foundation, now there's hope for all the local artisans, meaning we can digitize, we can preserve, and then we can scale this over 375 years old craft of kente weaving, and for Ghana's kente industry, this support signals a new era, one where every artisan is going to be empowered, one where we are going to ensure that this funding seeks to the celebration of Ghanaian heritage. We are going to own our own heritage, and then Ghanaian craftsmanship is going to be positioned competitively on the world stage, where we can rival major textile companies, across Europe, major textile companies across the America and even Asia, and then show that Africa is now meant, and then Africa is well-oiled, to challenge on the global scale, and then call kente our very own, as Ghanaians.
Can you walk us through the Digital Kente Expansion Project and what are its main goals and how will it impact local weavers, especially in areas like Ketu South and rural Ashanti?
So our primary focus here is on two areas. That's, like you mentioned, the Ketu South and then the Amansia West district in Kumasi. So the Digital Kente Expansion Project is about merging tradition and then technology. And our main goals are in threefold: digitization, empowerment, and then sustainability. We are creating a digital library of all authentic kente patterns using our e-commerce platform, where we are going to ensure that, we market with copyrights to protect our kente patterns from imitation, and also ensure that, our kente patterns can be passed down, in a well-guarded framework, to future generations. Also, with empowerment, that's where I'm very much more focused on. We are equipping weavers in the Ketu South area, rural Adansia West, with digital tools to transform and then design their software using our e-commerce platform. So that when you go to our e-commerce platform, we've made the kente products that we trade in, especially with the schools, very accessible, such that anybody anywhere in the world can be able to have access and then make an order with a click of a button, where this will create this will create more jobs for our weavers within the Amansia West District in Ashanti region, and then also the Ketu South area.
Right.
For sustainability, we are introducing the digital ordering systems, where with mobile money, with Visa, with MasterCard, you can just make purchases by click of the button, and then we cut out exploitative middlemen and then ensure that weavers earn fairer and more consistent income to support their family now. So this is a game changer for the local weavers. It means that their skill that they've learned from their fathers and then their grandfathers now has a digital passport, to be transferred all over the world.
We've got barely a minute. You're partnering with talent from Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, and Zimbabwe. Talk to us about how important that is, that cross-border collaboration in scaling a traditional industry like kente weaving. In a minute, if you can.
Yeah, collaboration is everything. And Africa's creative industry is strongest when we can work together. By bringing in talent from Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, and Zimbabwe, we are seeking to blend diverse skills in technology, storytelling, and design. It's no longer just about Ghana's kente. It's about creating a Pan-African textile ecosystem where ideas, skills, and innovations cross borders. So these students will bring their knowledge in the areas of technology, to make sure that at least our e-commerce platform is well guarded and that the framework is strong to ensure that at least we gain the best out of this partnership.
Thank you so much, Benjamin Epton, founder and CEO of Woven Africa. Appreciate your time. And that's the marketplace. More news on our website, myjournline.com/business, including news of the IMF staff mission expected in Ghana next week. My name is Darryl Kwao. Thanks for watching. We will be back same time tomorrow.